open it and then see where I am. Thank you.
All right. So while we're waiting for you, okay, I think some explanation needs to be done about what it is Git and GitHub. Now, Git is a version control that we use to link our local device to our GitHub. It has so much around it. So I can't really give you the full explanation now. Can you all hear me? My voice is a bit down. Is I need a reaction to this if you can hear me. All right, thank you very much. Now, so that is Git. Now, GitHub. Let me share my screen and show you something. GitHub is just like your Google. Yeah, let me use that to explain. It's just like your Google. While most of what you do for your mail is saved on the cloud. So GitHub is a open source space where you can save all code that you have done on, so that you might not necessarily fill your system with all those folders, all those heavy things that you'll be needing when you are creating your this thing, and then you will not lose it. So it's like a cloud. Is not it's like it is a cloud based storage for codes, just codes for programming. So different type of languages you have it there, and that was why we said go GitHub. Every developer, I believe, every developer has a GitHub account. It's like the way everybody has a Google account. It's the same way every developer has a GitHub account. Why? Because that is where you save all your code, so you can access it on every devices that you will need, as long as you remember your name and your password, and that is it. So it will you can access it. Now, what that Git now do is Git links your local system, that means your system, to your GitHub, so that you can easily send whatever you have on your system dash quickly to your GitHub and save it there. So that was the essence of sending you that, because now we don't want you to just start sending assignment. You are sending so much link and different, and it will become too cumbersome. Or you are trying to send folders to look neat. So your GitHub, if it is on your GitHub, I can come and check it out there and see what you do. So that way I can grade. And that was the whole point of sharing the video of Git and GitHub, for you to know how to link the two and all that. Basically, I am not using Windows, so I cannot really give you a full details of it. But now on Windows, we install something called Git Bash. So Git Bash is basically Git for those using Mac or Ubuntu OS. It is an and it is inbuilt in the terminal for you. So that way you don't need to install it. But for Windows, you need to install Git Bash, and I'm very sure that was what is shared. So when you install Git Bash, all you need to do is configure your name, configure your email, and after that, you then need to go to your GitHub, and after creating a GitHub account, I think that I should watch that video. Should I didn't really watch that video? So it is for you to learn link now your GitHub to your system with your Git, so that you can easily push whatever you have and push it there. So that was the essence of it. And that way you have two ways to link it. Either you use the HTTP or you have the SSH. Then the HTTP is where you use your username, and then you have a personal token that you used to be pushing it all the time when you want to push. And while SSH is an automatic link in between your system and your um GitHub, where you don't need to use a personal link, but you can always push like that. Let me share my screen now. You see something I'm talking about. Alright, can you all see my screen? Alright, good.
Yes,
So
I can.
basically, yeah, so this is basically what a GitHub account should look like for anybody that has a Git. This is my GitHub account. So because I have an account, so this is the dashboard. Majorly, so this is what we said you should have one so that let me open a project. Okay, so you see this way when you've linked your system with it, you can I can see whatever, like you see here, you can always see when I click on whatever file that you see by HTML, I can always see whatever you wrote here and I can grade whatever you did by that. And that is it. So it is not even about me grading, it's about everybody must have a GitHub account for you to save your work. Like now if I'm opening my profile, sorry, you can see I have up to 60 repos, which is not because I am a pro yet, but it is because at even at my learning stage, I was always pushing whatever I have. As you can see here, you can see hello world, my first GitHub repo. This is how you do it from the first thing you have down. So that is it. So that was the whole essence of asking you to have a GitHub account first and trying to send you to have a GitHub. Now with Git, right, you're supposed to have with Git, you're supposed to have, let me see, Git Bash, Windows. So it's supposed to have something like this that you can use. I'm not using Windows, so it's a bit difficult to explain here. But okay, so set up your Git with your GitHub. So now this is it usually. So when you have your Git already and you need to see it said to use Git on a command line, you need to download this and configure it on your computer first. You also install this, but majorly you just need to have your Git first to know what to do so you can download and install this one. So setting up your Git, most Chrome OS, you know, has a inbuilt thing as a very so to enable you go to the ninja. What is in it? So majorly you see like I said, set your username. After setting your username, you have all these. You set the email to. Where did it go to? After setting your email, you set your email to, and after that, you link it up, authenticate with your GitHub. When you connect to your GitHub record, you don't need to authenticate using HTTP, like I said, or SSH. So you can authenticate with GitHub using this for either it or much. So that's just the oldest thing. Probably I'll share you this link to have if you clone so you can connect with each of these and the next is have all set up. You may now choose which of where you can put your so sorry I'm rambling, but I'm just trying to tell you the whole essence we have all this why we said you should go through this and do it like all that. So if you really didn't really understand it and all that, just please drop your question. Probably we'll provide another video that will be more specific for you to really complete whatever installation you have or less. I could have gone way for that for you, but I'm not using Windows and I know most people use Windows. So I'm not using Windows, so I cannot even give you a full details of what you need because me I have it inbuilt on my own system. So I just access it once like that. But majorly, I'll just ask the head to share you this link that I have opened there for you to see, and it will give you another step on how to continue. As long as you have installed Git Bash on your system, then you can move it from there to there. Um, have I been able to answer your question, or have I been able to help you out one way or the other with whatever issue you have? I need your response. Have I been able to address that a bit?
Yes, yes. If I have issues, I'll still reach out to you. Thank you.
No, no problem. Thank you very much. So I think we'll just move to today's class. We're already very short of time. That's good. All right, can you all see my screen? Good. So yeah, I actually wanted to this. I asked for someone to give me a recap of what we did last week, but I see that we're even way beyond time, so I can't even ask that again. So basically, we learned about tags, we learned about the doc type, we learned about the HTML structure, we learned about the semantic structure for each, and we did tag, we did element and attributes, right? I need someone to unmute. I can't see if you're doing a reaction or not. We did all this yes last week, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. So today we'll be going to HTML paragraph. I'm very sure we've made mention of one of these last week, a paragraph, because we made mention of it. But now, what are HTML paragraph? A paragraph in HTML is defined by the p tag, like we mentioned last week. This tag is used to encapsulate text and group sentences together in a structured way. So majorly it is just to do whatever text you have and all that. So um yeah, where is this still where we stopped last week? And yeah. So we have our P here. Usually what do we use P for is just to do maybe you just want to do a small P and just this is from P. So this is it from P tag. And that is how we use P. So wait, is this bold enough but I should increase the fonts for you?
It is okay.
Alright, okay, yeah. So this way, this is what we necessarily use P. And we could use P to write something very long again to like very 100. That is P again. But necessarily is just to have text. You should have all the text that we need. So if I do this, generally for text, yeah. So you see all this long story that just came out. It's just in one paragraph. It's just in one p tag. So it doesn't matter how it is. It's just that. So usually that is what we use P for. This tag is too long. I will reduce it. Set it. So that's P tag. Now, so what is the basic syntax structure for it? To say here's a simple example of how to use P, just P, and we say this is a simple paragraph of it. So the opening tag and closing tag. So P tag is not a self-closing tag, it's an opening and a closing tag. So in this example, the text is simple is enclosed within the opening and the closing tag P, which tells the paragraph to treat it as a paragraph. Now, you can have multiple paragraphs. We said you can have as many paragraphs as you need by simply multiplying p tag, for example. So, and that is what we have here. Yeah. Okay. So we say this is p tag 1, and I can do this and make it p tag 2 and p tag 3. So you can have like in your write up, you can have probably one or two headings, and you can have like up to 10 paragraphs because you are writing different things at each time and you want it to be treated as a paragraph. So you see, we have p tag 1, we have p tag 1, we have p tag 2, we have p tag 3. So we want it to be treated as paragraph at each different point and not just continuation. So you have that now. Then so each paragraph will be displayed on a new line with some space between them like we have here. You see, this is displayed on a new line. It is different from this line, and you can see there's a space between them. So that is how this browser reads a paragraph. Now we said a paragraph attribute. We said the p tag doesn't have a lot of attributes like the way image tag has a lot of attributes or anchor too has a lot of attributes. But there are a very important one you should know about it. The align. Although, like we said, we have HTML have moved from XML down to HTML, down move, and now we're at HTML5. So there are some things that have been deprecated from those stages each time, but it can still be used, but not necessarily advisable to reuse because it is already moved out. But it is good to know about where you are coming from, and then you begin to appreciate what you have now. So he said the P tag doesn't have a lot of attributes, but there are few important ones you should know about it. The align attribute. He said although deprecated in HTML5, the align attribute was historically used to set the text alignment of the paragraph, e.g. left, right, center, justify. Now if you notice, on your browser, it is always on the left hand side. So you can always change it to tell it that it should be on the center or it should be at the right hand side. So let us see, we should be able to do that. Then we have a line. Uh, so a line, let's see, center. Hopefully that still works. Is it? Yeah. And then we have that at the center. So we can use that to center it, and that's the attribute, one attribute assigned to Peter. We can also change this to another one and make it align. And we want the align to be right. And there we go. This one starts from the right hand side. So basically, those are the few attributes. That is one attribute that has to do with the Peter. Are we good? I think somebody raised their hands for a question, right? Oh, okay, not a question, so we can keep going. The next thing, the heading. We've mentioned heading one way or the other, and so we've mentioned heading one way or the other since all these days. Like that. So we have HTML heading. When building a website, one of the fundamental tasks is organizing your content in a way that it is both visually appealing and easily to navigate. Now, heading in HTML are used to define title and subtitle of section within your pages. I remember last week when we were talking about heading, I was telling you why we have H1, H2, H3, H4, and what we're using it. So we're like H1 was for title, H2 was for subtitle, and all that. Each of them was it. So they help structure the content, making it more accessible to user and search engines alike. In this tutorial, we're explaining what headings are, why they're important, and how to use them effectively. Now, they range from H1 to H6, like I said. H1 representing the most important heading, like I also mentioned last week, because it is the most used and the most important one, which is the main one heading. Typically, the main title of the page. So I kept using example like this one. This HTML heading here is used by H1 because it is the main heading of this page, and we know that is one thing. This structure now can be H2 or H3 because those are to tell a subtitle of, but still an heading, but it is subtitle to the main heading. So, and H6 being the least important, we barely use H6 like I mentioned in the last class. So, each level of heading has its own default styling and usually gets smaller and less prominent as the level increases. So, we said the structure of heading and how heading are structured in HTML. We say one, H1. So let me just do copy. Do we have an example of it? Yeah, we have that already. So you see, we have H1. Do you see how big and important H1 is? Well, it keeps reducing by the time we went to H2, H3, we get to H4, we get to H5. And you can see how less important H6 is. It is even barely visible, but it's still an heading. Probably want to choose it at a bold or something like that. So yeah. Now, the above code renders six different heading like we have seen in our own code. It's giving us six different headings and six different styling. So each one decreases in size as the number increases. So six, we say our six is very small, and we say our one is very big. So as the number increases, which is goes to H2, this font size reduces. So now the importance of heading. We have the semantic structure like we mentioned the other day. Semantic structure helps a lot for you to know each when you use this one, that means it's anything that is inside this particular tag or element has an attribute to that. So semantics is just more like a meaning to it. So semantic structure. Heading provide a clear structure to your document, make it easier for users to understand the hereditary of the content. This is crucial for accessibility as screen reader often use heading to help users navigate through a page. So, like we said, this now is an H1, this is either a H or A3, and this one is giving more subtitle to the H1. This is another H2 or H3, and this can be an H5. Do you understand? It is a title that needs that is just there, but it's just small because we just need it small. It's important, but at the same time small, not up to not missing the main one, which is the H1. So that's for semantic structure. So for SEO benefits, search engine use headings to understand the context and relevance of the content of the page. Proper use of headings can improve your site's SEO, which is what search engine optimization, by signaling the main topic covered on your page. So sometimes sometimes you can just browse how to do it. It's not as if you have a particular website in your mind, but because of maybe proper use of H1s and heading tag, you can see different type of websites will come out for you when you have after searching for it. Some of them is not even sometimes if you check it, you will see sometimes Google will tell you it has this one, it does not have all this one because it has some of this content in whatever heading it has. So it can recommend that content, that website for you. That is what we have there. Another thing is the user experience. Heading breaks up large block of text, making your content more digestible. This improves the overall user experience, engaging readers to stay on your page longer. And when everything is just in P, just imagine like everything is just like this. We don't know which one is the heading and please you will get tired of reading and you won't even know what is the major thing that you are trying to do. So due to this, you already it makes it boring. But when you use the proper use of an editor, at least the user knows that oh, this is what this place is talking about, this is what this place is talking about, just from even the edit. And that way the user can stay long on and read more and not get bored. So best practices for using heading. Start with H1. Like I said, every page should start with an H1 tag that defines the main heading of the page. There should typically be only one H1 per page to maintain a clear hereditary. So every other one should be like an H2 or H3. Now number two, using heading hereditary. Following a logical order with your heading. After H1, use H2 for succession. Use H3 for sub succession like this. Let's say we have H1, H2. This one is not a sub under it. So these are like H2 and this can be like H3, right? So and so on. Avoid skipping heading level if the job for H1 directly to H3 as this can confuse both user and search engine. Now keep heading relevant. Ensure that your heading accurately reflects the content of the section they are introduces. This helps maintain the logical flow of the document. So imagine this H3 does not have anything to even do with this H1 that we are reading here. It does not make sense. It even makes it so boring and you can't move. So this is the whole essence of using your H1 down to it. You see that each that's why first we start from even the semantic meaning because each tag has a meaning and has an attribute what it is used for. So when you want to write plenty content, you need to use P, which is the paragraph, just inside of it. When you have a heading, a title, a subtitle, you use from H1 to H6. That way you can easily see step by step that way. Do you understand? My next. Can you guys still hear me? I guess my network is bad already. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
We cannot hear you. It's only when you say, "Can we hear you?" That's when we're hearing you. If you're saying something before, we did not hear anything. Thank you.
We are having network week, so
I can't hear you if you're saying anything. Oh, we can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. MTN decided to do their village thing as usual. I'm very sorry about that. So let me continue. Okay, can you all see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
I can see you.
All right, thank
Yes,
you.
yes, we can.
All right, thank you. So we were to continue from bold tag. Did you get the heading part? I think. Did you get that part before the network went back?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's start from bold. We have the bold tag. The bold tag in HTML is used to make a text appear bold. It is an inline element, meaning it affects the content within it without disturbing the flow of surrounding text. However, it is important to note that the bold tag does not convey any extra emphasis or importance to the content. It simply makes the text bold for future visual purpose. So in the bottom line, what we use bold for is okay, this P. I want this P now to be very thick. So we have B and close it. I'm going to cut this one and move it here. And there's this. And then when we come here, you can see that this P here is the P is different and it's more bold. But what we're trying to say that it does not actually change anything and does not affect the flow of how your write up is done. It just makes that particular thing that is wrapped around it to look more more it makes it look more like thicker, like the way we use bold in our um MS Word, Microsoft Word, yeah. So that is basically what that bold tag does. So if we wanted to do something else, like let me make it two so that we can see it. Yeah, bold tag like this. So I see it. So it is just whatever that is put within it that is going to be bold. Any other thing, it won't touch it and it won't affect it. It won't change that. It will start from another line. It is called inline, so it is going to maintain wherever that is inside it will maintain that position in line where it is, not like P, which is going to start from a new line. So how to use the bold is like what I've just showed you. It is using the big tag is straightforward. You simply wrap the text you want to make bold within the opening and the closing tag. And here's the syntax like what we just did. So look at a similar example. We have a P. So this is a normal example, but this type is bold. So yeah, let us use this. At least this is long. Let me use just this P alone, and for you to see how it looks like. So I'm going to come to this P. Ouch, I don't need this body. So we say this is a normal sentence. B, the bold tag is this is what is bold and that. So this way it stays like this and that's all. Then when we come here, you can see that it is just that particular part that we wrap in the bold that is going to change. Every other thing is just going to remain the way it is, and that's what we have there. So when should you use the big tag? Why the big tag is easy to use? It is important to consider when it is appropriate to use it. The big tag should be used when you want to make text bold for stylistic reasons without implying that the text has an extra importance or emphasis. For example, you might use the bold tag for heading or subheading that does not need to be marked as important, or product name or brand in a bold of block of text, date or time in event description, like you just want a date, something that does not make an emphasis to something. You just want it to just for you to just quickly know that oh, this one is there, and that's all. So that the difference between the bold tag and the strong tag, yeah, we have a strong tag. They both make your work look bold, but there's a difference between it, which is the difference between B tag and strong tag is that strong not only make text bold but also indicate that the text is important or urgent. So the screen readers and other aesthetic technology can pick up on this, making strong more appropriate for emphasizing important text. So one thing is bold just makes the particular text bold but does not make any emphasis. So when a screen so it is just for visual purpose alone. So when a screen reader is reading through it, might not actually knows that that thing is important and will just read through it. But when you use strong, let us see a part that I will show you strong. When you use strong, that means you're even telling down to the brother that this particular text is way more important than um, but telling the browser that this particular text is very important and we need it. Can you see that both parts is let me change this one from bold to strong. Yeah. Can you see that both parts is both taken than other parts. But one thing with it is that now strong now down to the brother knows it is strong that even when a screen reader or other technology picks on this, he knows that this particular part that I have that it is thicker is very important. Unlike when it is bold, bold he does not know that and he just read through it. That's why you say it does not do any emphasis. So if you want to play emphasis on a particular word and you want it very deep, you can use strong because you want others to know that it is for more emphasis. So and that's what we have here. We say example P strong important. Like you want to use the important, I want you to know that this is very important. Please read the instruction carefully. So yeah, the strong tag is used because the text important convey critical information. So that's it. So basically that is what is called our strong tag is. Now italics. Italic tag I in HTML is used to italize text. The tag is part of the original HTML specification and has been around since the early days of web development. But we basically note that italics is there even when you are doing MS Word, there's italics. We have some even in schools that we're told that when you want to write a name of a book or a name of an author, it should be in italics. So it has always italics has always been there and has not been out. So how do we do italics? Italics is known just like the way you have B tag. Italics is only just an I tag. And if I do this again, P is for italic and we want it italic, so I cut this out. We have what we call it, we said it's called I, and we put it here. You put whatever you want to be italicized inside the I opening and close tag, and you will have it in italics by default. So that way, that is what italics does. That is how you have italics for web development, just with the I tag. So you see it inside this example more. We always say the word emphasis is italicized at the same tense. So when we check, we have that emphasis in italics. So that is how we do italics. Now, explanation. The I tag is purely presentational, meaning that it instructs the browser to display the enclosed text in italic. However, it does not convey any specific meanings or importance to the text beyond the visual styling. Just like bold, that does not do anything more than the visual styling that we were just saying, the same thing for italics. So when to use this? You say when the The I tag is typically used when the text needs to be italicized for usual visual reasons such as styling foreign words, technical terms, or title of works. Like I said, the book titles, you use italics for them. Now you use it when the emphasis is more about the visual presentation rather than indicating importance or stress on a word. So like we knew bold and strong when we want to pass emphasis on a word or try and send more information, we use strong so that even the browser knows that it is more important. But we use bold when we know it's just all about the visual states. So the M tag. The M tag is another way to italize text in HTML, but with a key difference, it carries semantic meaning. M stands for emphasis and use this tag indicates that the enclosed text should be emphasized in a way that it affects the meaning of the sentence. So this text is emphasized and italics. You should never skip reverse. So let's use this. So M's also is in italics, but now, just like the way bold sends more emphasis and importance, strong sends more emphasis and importance over bold. Same thing M's does over italics. So if we have that, and the same way we write it, just write EM, which is in the open and close bracket. I say that it makes no difference here when you see it, but it tells more at the back to the browser. That is the major difference they have, both of them, both bold and strong. Italics, I tag, and the M tag. So when a screen reader or other aesthetic technology encounter the M tag, it knows to emphasize the enclosed text, often by changing the tone or pitch of the voice. The browser also italize the text by default. When to use this, use the M tags when the emphasis change the meaning of the sentence or when it is important for accessibility. So you should know when to use all this because it's very important. If it's just you just want to make an emphasis, like you just want to make it an italics, you can use I. But if you want to pass more meaning to it, then you can use the M. Then difference between the italics and the M tag. Why both high and M tags result in italic tags? The choice between them depends on the context you want to use it for. So for the I, you use this tag for italic text without implying any semantics importance. It is more about style, like I've been making mention. And why the M, you use this tag when you want to indicate that the text is important, just like strong over bold, or when you want to ensure that assistive technologies emphasize it. Now, think of M as more meaningful version of I. It emphasizes importance for making your content accessible to all users, including those using screen readers. You know, screen readers are majorly used to someone who has one deficiency or the other, either cannot read or cannot hear, or something like that. One of it, or cannot see. One of it. That is what majorly screen readers and all these other tools are used for. Now, accessibility condition. While the italics tax is purely visible, the emphasis tax enhances accessibility by providing additional meaning to it. Additional meaning. When developing website, it's crucial to keep accessibility in mind to ensure that all users, including those with disability, can access and understand the context. Now, tips. Use the M tag instead of the I tag when the text has semantic importance. Always test your web page with screen readers to ensure that the emphasis is conveyed appropriately. Now, the underline tag. Now, you've seen some places where you see some words that underline on your website. Yeah, we have that too. Same way you use it on your MS Word. You know, some of these tags is not something you use all the time, but it is important to know that you have them. Now, the underline tag, U. The U tag is in HTML to underline text. It is an effective way to emphasize a part of your content by underlining it. So let us just copy this and let us see how it looks like. Yeah, we can see that it is the opening and closing tag to whatever word you want to be underlined is just you. Same way we have just I for italics and M's, EMs for M's, another B for bold, then you write strong. Just it, they are opening and closing tag and they just grab whatever you want it to do at that time. So now using you, we have our word underlined. Let me say this is an underlined word. You said that. Sorry about that. Now the result, just like we have, is this. Now, the U tag was once a go-to method for underlining text. However, with the evolution of web standard, it is now considered a bit outdated for general use, especially when used for emphasizing text that isn't a link. This is because underlining text with a U tag can sometimes confuse users as they might mistake it as for a hyperlink. Think we have a link, yeah. Can you see this link? Can you see it is underlined? So why people don't always use this underline is because now if you are used to seeing a link with underline, you will assume that this underline that I have here is also a link, which is not. That is why it is one of an outdated thing. This is because underlining text with the U tag can sometimes confuse users as they might mistake it for an hyperlink. When we read CSS, cascading sheet style will explore a more modern approach to underlining HTML context. So definitely we have way to underline it, but instead of using the U tag confusing a user to think that this is a link, there's a more proper way and better way to underline. Okay, um list tag. Lists in HTML help group related items together. We will always have lists. We always have a list of things that you want to do. You always see within one, two, three. Like perfect example, we have one, two, three here. So we always have a list. However, always have another list that you will not use all the time. So they are usually presented with bullet points or numbers depending on the type of list you are creating. So I want you to know that we have three common types of list, which is the unordered list. Unordered lists are mostly the bullet points type of list. Then the other list are your one, two, three or your ABC. And then your description list that has more like you want to keep one description of a particular list that you're having. So each of these lists is suitable for different use cases depending on how you want to structure and display them. Now, for on other list, an on other list is used to group a collection of items where the order of the list does not matter. The item is an on other list are displayed with what a bullet point by default. So how do we write on an other list? Let us go. Let me clean this too. So an another list is start by use a opening and closing tag of UL, which is on order list, L for list. And then the next thing you go is now you want to have each list that should come out, you have LI for each list. Then what should we have here? We should have one. We want it to have two. We have this to have three. So if we check this, by default, like we said, it is going to come out as what? In a bullet point, and that is how it lists it. So this is an unordered list. Basically, it's just also to have a list of items. You go into market and you're writing, we have this many, you have this, and you are not writing it with one, two, three, or ABC. This is what we call unordered lists. So, so now in this example, the UL tag defines the another list and each item is wrapped inside a LI, that is the list item tag. Okay, so the above code now we come as this mango, apple, banana. So you can always also style your another list using CSS to change the bullet point tag or remove it completely. So you can use your CSS to remove the bullet point if you don't need the bullet point, or to change it from bullet point to something else you want it to be. That is it. By default, it is always a bullet point. Now, we've said we have the another list. That means we will definitely have the order list. Now, the order list is used to group a collection of items where the order does matter. Item is an order list are displayed with number or letters. So if we are using UL, which stands for on order, and L list, then that means for order list is going to be what O order and L on order. And it is still the same. This is list item because we are trying to say which of the item. So we want to do, let's use step one. We have step two and step three. And by the time we check that out, you can see the difference. It is definitely coming with a number, which is 1, 2, 3, and that is it more majorly. So another list come with bullets, other list come with numbers or alphabets. Definitely you can use your CSS to change it to tell you what it has and what it doesn't have. Now we say customizing the order list. You can customize order list by changing the numbers by using the type attribute. Yes, that's the type attribute. So you can either tell it to be a number or a capital letter A or a small letter A or a normal numeral. So let us do normal numeral. So we come here and we specify the type, and see it has even given us the option of the type we want, and I want it in a capital letter Roman numeral, and there we go, 1, 2, 3, and that is all. So majorly it's just for you to specify what type do you want, what type do you want. Do you get that? So majorly that's all you need to do, to specify what type do you want. If it's a Roman numeral you want, or a lower letter, or a upper letter, or that. Okay, let us see for a upper letter. We just have A. We want it to come with A and B. So you see, comes A, B, C. That is how you make this kind of things normally for it. So it is how other list, we see other list bullet point to change another list bullet point, other list are 1, 2, 3 or ABC, either capital letter, small letter, or it is Roman numeral, capital letter or small letter. So that is it. Now this renders a first item and all that. Now description list, like we said, each list that we'll be calling gives his name. He gets the stack from his name. We've always said that now. So we said a description list, formerly known as definition list, is used to present items with a description. It's commonly used for items and their definition, but can be used for any type of key value pair. So the basic structure is this: DL, DT, and DD. So DL stands for description list, DT is the term or key, and DD is its description. So let us do DL like we said, description list. So I'm having a description list. Now DD is the key of the word. Let's say color, right? Now DT is used to give more definition of color. Like let's say this, let's say color red, and we can just say this is color red. It is very bright and it use RGB 255, 255 and 255. So when we check that out, can we see it? We have the color. Let me see something. Oh, sorry, I'm missing something. This should be DT and this should be DD. Yep. So yeah, I made a mistake. So this is the what we want to define. That is the name. This is the key first that we want to give more description on, which is color red. So this is we giving the description of it. So sometimes when you are writing in your notes, sometimes like that, you can just define it and then you start giving more explanation underneath, and it will not fall on the same line as it. That is what we just did here. So we're giving, now we know by the visual that this description is assigned to this one, because this is what we're giving more story on, and that is basically what um description list does for us. Now code is rendered with, no, okay, this example we have a TL that just the largest H tag and all that. So the description list helps you connect terms with their definition in an organized way, just like we just have here. This is the term and this is the description of that term. And that is it. Now the common use case for list. We use lists for navigation menu, like something like this. We use lists for them. There's a many website use list to build navigation menu, or like here to use, sometimes we use list. We have product features. List are great for outlining features and benefits of the product. To do list is an order and another list are perfect for tasks. Then groceries, we use description list to build groceries section or FAQ pages. So this is basically what we use page list for. So we will stop here for today. We've already exhausted our time. So I'd like to hear if anybody has any question or anything for us today. Any question, please? I think no question. So in that case, Falytom, over to you.
Sorry, it was a mistake.
Yeah, good night, everybody.